this morning? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the December 18th, 2017 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently have the honor of serving as chair of the commission and representing District 3, alongside Commissioner Shelley Bueller, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Welcome. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. First item of business, please.
First item is under proclamations presentation regarding county and township roads in Shawnee County. Tom Block, Director of Public Works Solid Waste, and Jim Crowell, County Council.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crowell, Shawnee County Councilor, and Tom Block, Department of Public Works. Is Lee Allen here too? There he is. Okay. We're going to provide a brief presentation regarding townships and counties and the relation between the two. As you are painfully aware, we get a lot of questions from the public about the county government, township government. What is the county's role with regard to townships? We want to go over that this morning and provide some information. Lee has created just a great interactive map that will be on the county website that he'll demonstrate for you this morning, that I will hope will be a good service to the public moving forward. Let's see here. Okay, first point I want to make about townships and counties. They're separate units of local government. Just like a lot of people get confused that the county is just a sub-unit of the state government, a lot of people believe that townships are simply just a sub-unit of the county. And that's not true. Counties and townships are separate units of government. Counties are a municipal corporation pursuant to the law, governed by an elected Board of County Commissioners, can sue and be sued, can levy taxes, all the things that you think of what a governmental entity can do. Townships, likewise, are also a municipal corporation, separate from the county. They are governed by an elected township board. They can sue and be sued, just like the county can, and they can levy taxes. Differences. Counties have broad municipal powers, including home rule powers, and provide a broad range of municipal services. For example, Shawnee County, we have parks and recreation, we operate the jail, we have roads, we have a health department. We just offer a broad range of local governmental services. Townships are generally rural in nature. They have limited municipal powers. They're generally focused on maintaining township roads and culverts, and some do provide fire protection and emergency services. Now, 100 years ago, this was a different story. 100 years ago, townships provided a broader range of services and were, in many ways, the focus of local government in our state's history. But that has changed over the years, and now they operate in a more limited scope of powers. Counties are governed by elected commissioners who are elected by county voters to 4-year terms. Townships are governed by elected township officers that are elected by township voters to 4-year terms. A vacancy on the Board of County Commissioners is filled by the governor following a sort of complicated district nominating process. A vacancy on the Township Board is filled by the Board of County Commissioners, and I think that's probably what creates a lot of the confusion. They see from time to time that if there is a vacancy, this board does fill it, and it creates the assumption that you have some larger role on a day-to-day basis over townships than you do. This is your one point where you are involved with townships, you fill those vacancies. Townships are independent from counties. They hold regular meetings. They conduct their own business, set their own budget, and the county does not exercise oversight over that process. Township employees are not county employees, and township officers cannot be removed by the county if the public are dissatisfied by them. I'm going to turn it over to Tom at this point to go into a little bit more detail about roadway maintenance.
Thank you, Jim. As Jim mentioned, Tom Block, Director of Public Works for Shawnee County. And one of the biggest, I guess, overlapping duties, I think, or at least as perceptions, is our relationship with townships and our roadway systems. We get a lot of calls throughout the year as far as township roads and what we can do to help with the township roads. I'll give you a little bit of brief information. Within Shawnee County, there are 12 townships, and they're listed here below. Auburn, Dover, Grove, Minokan, Mission, Monmouth, Rossville, Silver Lake, Soldier, Tecumseh, Topeka, Williamsport. Those are all the townships. Also, there's the Sherwood Improvement District. Although they are not a township, they are somewhat similar to a township and somewhat similar to just a municipality. Within Shawnee County has its own roadway network. And the way I like to have people think about it, it's kind of like the state of Kansas is divided up into counties, but the state has its own roadway network, and some of the state roadways, many of the state roadways, run through counties. And they're responsible for their roads that run through counties. And then each county has its own roadway network that's responsible for those maintenance of those roadways. It's similar to that with townships, where we have our own roadway system, and townships also have their own roadway system. We're responsible for our roads, as the state is responsible for the roads that run through the counties, and townships are responsible for their roadways. As far as the county's responsibilities, we have as far as our roadway network is concerned, we have roadways, bridges, culverts, a drainage system, and signs. And the drainage system is essentially ditches and storm sewers. In Shawnee County, we have what's 288 lineal roadway miles, and that is, if you just look at a map and you draw a straight line, or you look at these straight lines, that's a lineal mile. However, each roadway has 2 directions at a minimum, so that would be twice as many roadway miles. And then, for instance, Croker Road from along out near Shawnee Lake Shawnee's got 5 lanes. That would be considered 5 lane miles. Wanamaker Road is the same, or Southwest 29th Street from Urish out to Indian Hills has 2 travel lanes and a middle lane. So that'd be 3 lane miles. So that's when we go from 288 lineal miles to 600 plus lane miles. That's how we get that, is by how many actual travel lanes there are. All bridges along county and township roadways are the responsibility of Shawnee County. So no matter if there's a bridge on a township road, Shawnee County has to maintain that bridge. And essentially, what is a bridge? Well, a bridge essentially is any structure that's equal to or greater than 20 feet in length. Seems rather simple, but that's pretty much the definition. And in Shawnee County, there are 255 bridges in the county. Also, what the county is responsible for is we are responsible for all culverts along county roadways, and all culverts having a cross-sectional area of 25 square feet. And essentially, a 25 square foot culvert is one that's about 6 foot in diameter. So even if there is a culvert that's 72 inches in diameter and larger on a township road, the county is responsible for the maintenance of that structure. And again, as I mentioned before, the drainage system essentially is storm sewers and roadside ditches on county roads. And as far as traffic signs, we have about 7,000, a little over 7,300 traffic signs that we maintain throughout the county along the roadways, the county's roadway system, not township roadway system, the county's roadway system. Also, townships, as I mentioned, have their own roadway networks. They essentially have roadways, culverts, drainage systems, and signs. The only thing missing there from the counties is they don't have any bridges. Of all the townships, including the Sherwood Improvement District, there are 844 lineal roadway miles and about 1,688 lane miles. They are also responsible, townships are also responsible for all culverts along township roadways having cross-section less than the 25 square foot cross-sectional area. And again, that's basically anything smaller than 72 inches in diameter. And again, their drainage system also contains of storm sewers and roadside ditches. By the large majority is roadside ditches. There are some subdivisions, some more modern or urban subdivisions that have been developed within some of the townships that have curb and storm sewers. Also, townships are responsible for determining the means, methods, and levels of maintenance for their roadway systems. And essentially what that means is Shawnee County cannot go in and say, okay, township, you do this for this road, and you do this for that roadway. We have no authority to direct a township maintenance and how they do it. Now, we oftentimes will consult with them if they have, questions, because we have engineers on staff, and most, well, I don't think none of the townships have engineering staff, so they will oftentimes consult with us on recommendations, but they either take them or leave them. But we cannot go in and say you need to do this or you need to do that. The only time that we could do that is if, in the opinion of the county engineer, who was me at the time, if I were determined, or my whoever follows me goes out and says this road is so imminently dangerous that an accident is imminent, then the county engineer can say this needs to be done. But other than that, and that, well, it's never happened since I've been here, and I'm not sure if it's ever happened, but that is the one time only that it can be done. I don't foresee that happening, but that is the one time that it can be done. Also, Shawnee County cannot mandate the surface type of township roadways. So the county cannot go in and say, okay, township, we want you to chip seal this road, or we think we need to asphalt this one. That is not our place to direct them what to do. So basically what this means is Shawnee County, the Board of County Commissioners, or Public Works, we're not an appeals court. If someone lives in a township and they're not satisfied with their roadway maintenance, and they go and speak with their township board and they're not getting satisfaction, they cannot then come to the county and say, we want you to make the decision and have them do this, what we want. We're not an appeals court. They have to work with, it's a local jurisdiction, and they need to work it out with their local jurisdiction. Also, one thing that we are intertwined a little bit is on traffic and speed studies. At a township's request, Shawnee County Public Works, the county engineer, will conduct and make recommendations regarding traffic speeds and speed studies. When we complete those, we will make the recommendations to the township board. If the township board concurs, then that issue will then be sent to the Board of County Commissioners for ultimate for consideration and approval. Essentially, the Board of County Commissioners gets involved in approving regulatory traffic control changes. That is basically speed, stop signs, no parking signs, anything that has basically a fine that could be attached to it, and was done by resolution. And basically this is any traffic signs that have white and black or red and white, those colors of signs are basically your regulatory signs. Warning signs, street signs, and informational signs do not need approval from the Board of County Commissioners. So for instance, RV parking over here, or 69th Street here, things of that nature, or curve ahead sign. Essentially those are your yellow and black, green, blue, and brown signs. Those color of signs don't need county commission approval. Now with that is basically a summary of how we interrelate with townships as far as the roadway maintenance is concerned. I'm going to turn it over to Lee. As Jim had mentioned, we've been working with Lee to create a road maintenance determination map that I think will be very helpful to our constituents as far as when they have any issue, they can go to this map and be able to click on it and be able to find out where they need to go. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer.
I have a quick question. How are township operations financed and funded?
They have their own tax levy specifically for road maintenance. So they do set their own mill levy for road maintenance for their roadways.
I knew that, I just wanted
No,
wanted to make sure the public understood.
I'm glad I knew it too.
Any other questions for Tom? All right.
Okay. Good morning, Commissioners. Lee Allen, GIS Coordinator. So I've been working with Jim and Tom and with Public Works to create the data for this map. So we really try to keep this very basic and very simple. You can enter an address, or you can just click, or from a mobile device tap on a road and see who is responsible for the maintenance, and then we give the contact information. Let's let it load up here. And this map will work on a computer or a mobile device, either one.
I might just say, because Lee, oftentimes in the past, when we've received, phone calls into the office, we have to either get out our paper map or call Tom and ask him to look up to see whether it's a city road or a township road or a county designated road. So hopefully it'll make a big difference.
Just checked it on my phone. Everything was working just fine.
Maybe the commissioners didn't pay for the internet.
Might have lost that.
Trust us, this is really good.
Let's see. What are we using? Let's try Google Chrome. Okay. So for Internet Explorer users, you might find some difficulty. We all know nobody uses Internet Explorer except county government. So, okay. So if you do happen to have like, a pothole or a culvert really close to your house and you want to put your address in, let's see. I'm going to use, okay. And as you start typing, it will go ahead and pull valid addresses, so you don't have to be too careful there. Let's see. All right. Oh, perfect. Sorry, I'm having a hard time seeing that up there. Okay. Topeka Boulevard. Okay, so what it does is it puts a little marker on the road and then kind of gives you an explanation, kind of tells you this is on the 6600 block of Topeka Boulevard, road is maintained by Shawnee County, here's our phone number, here's a link to get more information. And so if you're on a township road, it will say the name of the township, have the contact number that they've designated, and then actually link out to a PDF document that has all of the township trustees and everything, contacts on there for them. So, and if you just need to try to find your way, I know that it's, just south of this intersection, and you click on it, does the same thing. So you can do either way, you can get through there. So, I'll take any questions you might have.
What if you're inside the city limits?
So if you're
Topeka.
inside the city limits,
What do you get?
it will say that the city of Topeka is responsible. What we've done inside the city is a majority, sorry, I don't want to make anybody barf here. Sometimes the mouse will. Goes different. Okay. If you're inside the city, let me click on a road. Okay. It'll give you the city of Topeka's contact information, and it actually links to their E311 site. We have gone in on parks that the county owns and designated those as Shawnee County Parks and Recreation to contact them, since Public Works doesn't maintain those roads. And then there's also like private roads. If you click on a private road with inside of an apartment, it'll tell you that this is private, so it's neither the city nor the county that maintains that. So we've tried, inside the city, we've really tried to do the best that we can. There are about 10,000 different street segments inside the city, so there may be a few of the private roads in there that we haven't got yet, but for the most part, everything should be pretty accurate, so.
Very good.
Very good. Questions for Lee?
The directions on how to get to this.
Yes. So we will have a link off of the county homepage. I don't know if it's be on the homepage, but definitely on the Public Works site. And then this is also in the gallery of interactive maps for the county. Let's see.
You missed it. Oh,
I missed a W. Okay. Did I miss it again? Okay. There we go. So on our homepage, the Shawnee County homepage, there's the interactive maps link kind of here in the front page. And then the road maintenance contact map is now here showing up next to the property search. So, and we'll try and make this as available as we can in as many places.
I just want to say thank you, Lee. I know this has taken a long time to put together. I mean, you don't just do it like that.
Yes.
So
And
it
Public
has-
Works, I would just want to say, definitely, their staff really helped put a lot of the background data together.
Great.
I took care of the map and just kind of some different things that went into it, but
Good.
they definitely spent a
Thank
lot
you.
of hours in there checking those roads.
Good deal. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
good resource.
Anything else, Commissioner Cook?
well, I mean, I think this is a general question that gets asked to the commissioners a lot more than I think the public realizes is, whose road is this? Who do I contact? And this is more helpful to be able to get that information out, and who do I contact? But as you said, Commissioner Archer, if there's a problem with a township road and its maintenance, the relief is with the township trustees, and the township trustees have the ability to levy the tax to maintain the roads. And if they choose not to, your remedy is electing new trustees.
On that note, we do have a few trustees. We do have a few trustees in the audience, and I don't know if they would want to make any comments or not, but I want to make that available. No?
Are there township trustees that would?
I think Diane Dick is here from Rossville Township. I don't know if there's anybody else. I can't see that far. Thanks for being here this morning.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And again, I mean, not just the city of Topeka, those roads, but the cities of the third class, Rossville, Auburn, Silver Lake, Willard, all of those are on there as well, and they maintain jurisdiction of their roads. So, yeah, good deal.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good. Thank you again. Next item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
There were 3 items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions or
I'll
comments?
move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $987,762.62. The highlights out of the voucher report: payroll, $485,144.22. Health insurance premiums for our employees of $150,831.39. Department of Corrections, $57,350.80. IT, $49,934.08. The Sheriff, $47,136.02. And then finally, Parks and Recreation with $44,619.50. Those make up the highlights of the voucher report. I do not have any questions and would move for its approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the voucher report by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the correction orders by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A3, consider proposal from Willis of Greater Kansas, Inc. for 2018 insurance coverage, including property, commercial equipment and crime, boiler and machinery, automobiles, above-ground storage tanks, and excess work compensation, with optional quotes for flood, earthquake, and cybercrime coverage. And Commissioners, again, this is our annual property insurance packet that's before you. I do have, I know a lot about it, but I don't have the answers, so that's why I bring the people from Willis. And so we have Jan Mason and Brian Haston here from Willis of Greater Kansas City, Kansas.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me here this morning.
Thank you.
What I'd like to do is kind of walk through the 2018 property and casualty renewal. We did market the program for competitive bids this year, and through that process, it is deemed that the incumbent markets are the most competitive. There's a slight increase in premium. Majority of that is due to an increase in payroll, property values, and your automobile fleet is up by 11%. So what I'd like to do is kind of walk you through line by line through the coverages and show you how the reflected rates and exposure changed the premium for 2018. The property proposal is with Travelers Insurance. We did market the program, and it has come deemed that Travelers is the most competitive. The actual values are up 2%. The actual rate on the property is up 1.8%, which is a very good offering, considering there's changes in the insurance marketplace right now due to the catastrophic losses the property insurers have suffered over the last fall. So we are pleased to see that Travelers has been a good partner and is continuing close to a flat rate as we could get. The commercial general liability, we negotiated flat rates on that particular line of coverage. The auto program, your actual fleet is up from 495 power units to 550, which is based on the rating basis. The actual rates fluctuated from auto FISDAM. We received a reduction of about 47%, which is a very favorable reduction for the county. The auto liability rates are up about 3%. So overall, the premium difference from last year to this year is 6.5%. Commercial umbrella is flat. Workers' compensation, the county is on a self-insured program. There has been some excess loss activity that has caused a rate increase of approximately 4.67%. The actual payroll, the rating function is up about 6.9%. The commercial crime coverage is up $204. We had some increase in limits on there that benefited the county. The commercial package equipment floater is at a reduction of 9.7%. The equipment floater second policy is down about 62%, and majority of that is due we moved some of the physical damage coverage over into the auto liability policy, so we're seeing a decrease there. So overall, our recommendation is to stay with the incumbent markets. We feel that we have a very favorable renewal terms for 2018. Any questions?
Questions?
If we could, just talk about, we have some optional parts.
We do. So we have offered, we've received quotes in the marketplace for both quake and flood. And we've provided options there, and I believe we've sent out information, so we would like to know if you would be interested in pursuing those coverages.
Commissioner Archer.
Yes.
With the recent FEMA drawing of the map for the Expo Center, and it's now in a floodway and a floodplain.
Yes.
Is that something that we maybe should give greater consideration to than we have in the past, where it was not in the floodplain and floodway?
Yes, I believe we should give consideration to that, considering we're looking at building in a floodplain. There are options there. We would be interested in pursuing some consultation with you as we get closer to the building of that particular facility. Insurance will increase dramatically if it's built in the floodplain.
And along that way, we have an appraisal value, or just not appraisal value, but we have a valuation by these buildings for replacement. As we do $45 million worth of renovations to the Expo Center, is that going to change some of the coverage needs we have and maybe some of the prices we have?
Yes, we did not contemplate the increase in value, so your property's rated off of value. So basically, the rate that is applied right now, minus the flood insurance, that would be separate, but on the actual property coverage, there would be an increase on the policy when the building was completed.
And if I may, just one more.
Certainly.
As to the earthquake insurance, I mean, I think that we have seen quite an uptick of quakes around Oklahoma, Wichita, that area, less so in Shawnee County. I think that I can remember one mild, but outside of that one, this is not something that's on a regular occurrence. What's the thought of Willis for earthquake insurance as far as Shawnee County goes?
Yes, I would say that we have not experienced, obviously, a quake here. The New Madrid Fault, by many people, is considered to be a very large fault line, and we have not considered any quakes in this particular area, but there are certain people that decide that would like to purchase insurance to protect their building, because if there was a quake, there would be no coverage for the county without this particular coverage.
Commissioner Bueller?
I don't have any questions. This is the recommendation from the
Yes.
committee, correct?
Yes.
And I agree. I think at some point in time, we're going to have to look at the
Consider.
Expo Center and the grounds and additional coverage, but not at this time.
Perfect.
So I would move to approve the proposal.
Second.
Motion made to approve the proposal from Willis by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
information.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Next item, please.
And I just want to mention one thing,
Yes.
Commissioners. If at some point, as we're going through, if, as you're reviewing this, or you have any other questions, they can come back with, at any time on the flood insurance and earthquake insurance, such like, they can come back with, and they have quotes, but they can come back and any time, we can get on the insurance at any point in time. We don't have to do it just like this is the drop dead. We will be able to get on this, so that's
Okay.
not,
Very good to know.
okay.
Very good. Thank you, Cynthia.
Sure. Item B, Bond Council Number 1, consider approval of Resolution Number 2017-85, authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $25,300,000 aggregate principal amount of taxable industrial revenue bonds, Series 2018, for Topeka Grand Real Estate LLC to provide funds to acquire, construct, and equip a hotel in the 900 block of South Kansas Avenue.
Good morning, Bob Perry. I've been advised that Cody Foster's and investors are ready to permanently finance the hotel that's going up in 900 blocks of South Kansas Avenue. And they'd like to close the bond issue in January. This resolution would authorize the issuance and delivery of the bonds. And it's my understanding that the investors are buying the bonds themselves. So it's basically a private placement to themselves.
Commissioner Cook.
Can you go through with us just a little bit of how we got to this spot? I think that initially, when I was looking at it, I thought it's a little late to issue bonds since the hotel's already built, but we're in the process of being built, but there were some steps that got us to this point.
Sure, Kevin. In August of 16, AIM Strategies, which is a company that's owned by Cody, filed an application with the county requesting that the county issue its industrial revenue bonds, these would be taxable bonds under the federal tax code, in order to permanently finance the construction, the acquisition of real estate, and the construction of the hotel. What has happened in the interim is they've had interim financing in place, both the investors' funds as well as a bank loan with the U.S. Bank. They're at the point of they're going to wrap up the construction, I was told sometime late of 18, and they would like to have the bond issued in 18. And the reason why they like the bond issued in 18 is because under the statutory scheme for an ad valorem exemption. The exemption will begin 1 year after the year after the bond is issued. And this way, basically, they issue the bonds in 2018. They request an ad valorem exemption for the property for 10 years in front of the Board of Tax Appeals, beginning in 2019. We had a public hearing on this in September of 2016, considering the issuance of the bond, the county's intent to issue the bonds, and the county's intent to not oppose the ad valorem exemption in front of the Board of Tax Appeals. In the interim, basically, they've been constructing the hotel.
And so this action is really a follow-up to the September of 2016's decision.
That is correct.
And I think it's just kind of important to realize and note
Sure.
that.
Would you remind the public of what role Shawnee County plays in this and
Sure.
what liability that we possibly could have?
Sure, this is a conduit financing, basically. The county is asked to issue these bonds. In this case, the county was asked to issue the bonds to allow the developers to ask the Board of Tax Appeals for an ad valorem exemption for the project for 10 years, which will allow them to recoup their investment that much quicker, hopefully. Our role is solely to act as a conduit. The bonds by statute are not a debt or liability of the county. They're solely and only payable from the rents or revenues generated by the project. And should the default occur, that is between the developer and the investors, and the county has no participation in that.
So under no circumstances would Shawnee County be liable to the bondholders?
That's correct, under this scenario.
Okay. I'll move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion made to adopt the resolution by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Buer. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B2, consider approval of Resolution 2017-86, authorizing the issuance of an estimated $75 million aggregate principal amount of taxable industrial revenue bonds for 29 Fairlawn LLC to provide funds for the acquisition and installation of commercial improvements at the intersection of 29th Street and Fairlawn Road.
These bonds are the same as the prior bonds for the Cyrus Hotel. It's an industrial revenue bond. It's a conduit financing. 29 Fairlawn LLC is a single-purpose entity basically owned by Jim Klausman and Floyd Eaton. They've asked that the bonds be issued, and we closed this transaction in January of next year for the same reasons as we've asked to do the same for the Cyrus Hotel. In this particular project at 29th and Fairlawn, there is not an ad valorem exemption component. They've asked that the bonds be issued to allow the developers to avoid paying sales tax on certain materials and equipment and services, which is part of the industrial revenue bond statutory scheme, and as well as the sales tax scheme. My understanding is the city of Topeka has created a TIF, a tax increment finance district, for this particular area, 29th and Fairlawn, and that the intent is to use the incremental value tax revenue between what the base is, which is 2017, in future years to help the developers recoup some of their expenses for costs that qualify for a TIF redevelopment reimbursement.
Questions for Mr. Perry?
I have none.
I don't have any either. I will note that we have Councilman Jeff Cohen and City Manager Brent Trout in the audience, so I don't know if they want to make any comments on this item or not, or anyone else, for that matter.
I don't see him rushing up to the podium.
For sure.
So, yes.
I think we will have,
Oh, we got
yeah.
Marge is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I just want to make sure that you have read the City of Topeka's financial analysis, which they paid for on the project. And it is stunning in its lack of support for the financials of the project. I have 24 grandchildren and step-grandchildren. Maybe they wouldn't all claim me, but I claim them, and 16 of them are young professionals, and 6 live in Topeka. So I do relate to this personally, and thank you for your patience with me. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else would like to comment on this resolution?
Just to clarify again, Mr. Perry, The purpose of the industrial revenue bonds, it's not an ad valorem exemption. The county is just waiving sales tax that we would have on construction costs.
Well, actually, the county isn't waiving anything. The sales tax statutory scheme provides that projects which are financed in whole or in part with bond proceeds, that portion that's financed with bond proceeds are to be exempt from the sales tax collection requirements of the statute. And it doesn't specify what type of bond. It basically says bonds. So it could be industrial revenue bonds, it could be utility revenue bond, it could be a general obligation bond. It's just the bond. And what, in this instance, what it does, it allows on a, $90 million, $75 million project, basically, it's almost 10% sales tax. Obviously, you've saved that much more money to put back into the project.
And again, there's no risk to the county in issuing this.
That is correct. These are bonds are just like the one for the hotel. It's statutorily, they are not a debt or obligation of the county, and the county cannot be compelled to levy a tax to pay it.
I'll move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion made to adopt the resolution by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. And that motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Next item, please.
Item C, Parks and Recreation, number 1, consider approval of request to transfer $89,734.60 from the 2017 budget to the Parks and Recreation Building Maintenance 3R Fund for 2017 approved projects that may not be completed prior to December 31st of 2017.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. These 6 projects, 5 of the 6 have come before the Commission. The 6th one has not. We have started all of these projects, but don't anticipate them all being finished by the end of the year. After consultation with Betty Greiner, we've talked about transferring the funds into the Building Maintenance 3R Fund so we can pay those when the projects are completed. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
I'll move to approve the request.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item C2, consider authorization and execution of contract C476-2017, amendment to contract C118-2011 with the Shawnee Yacht Club, Inc. for use of facilities in Lake Shawnee through December 31st, 2018.
Commissioners, this group has been out of Lake Shawnee since Lake Shawnee was first created back in the 1930s. This is a 1-year extension on the contract. In the near future, I anticipate coming back before you with a completely revised contract where they work closer with the Shawnee County Parks and Rec Foundation for improvements and participating financially in those improvements. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Questions?
I'll
No
move for approval.
questions. I'll second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, John. Next item.
Item D, Information Technology, number 1, consider out-of-state travel for an employee from Information Technology and an employee from the Appraiser's Office to attend an ESRI Developer Summit, in March 2018, with funding of $1,850 from each department's 2017 budget and funding of $2,500 from each department's 17 budget, the first one, 2018, and the second one.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pat O'Blender with the Information Technology Department. This item is a request on behalf of the Information Technology Department and the Appraiser's Office to each send an employee to an ESRI Developer Summit in Palm Springs, California, from March 4th, 2018 through March 9th, 2018. This item is uniquely, or really fortuitously timed. We saw earlier today the demonstration from the GIS coordinator on the road maintenance contact map. That's just a small subset of all of a lot of really interesting and useful things that can be done with the GIS platform. Some of what the IT department would like to do, or has done in the past and would like to continue doing, is integrating more GIS features into the applications that we develop for departments within Shawnee County. This conference or summit provides an opportunity for IT staff to go to the same conference that the GIS staff go to and further develop the language that they use to develop applications back and forth between each other, and provides a really great opportunity for us to enhance the applications that we build for departments within Shawnee County. So what we're asking is that we get permission to register for that conference out of 2017 funds to pay the registration fees, and then once we get to the conference and then pay the lodging, travel, and expenses, we'll pay those out of 2018. The IT department would pay for their employee, and the appraiser's office would pay for their employee. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Have none, I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item, please.
Item E, Sheriff's Office, number 1, consider approval of request to transfer $65,000 from the 2017 budget into a special project fund to purchase a new phone recorder.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Melanie Mills-Burgers. I'm the Assistant Director of the Emergency Communications Center. What we're requesting is $65,000 to be transferred from the 2017 Sheriff's budget into the 2018 budget to purchase a new phone recorder. Our current phone recorder is an end-of-life system, and it is also not compatible with the next generation 911 phone system that we'll be installing the first quarter of 2018. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Excuse me, Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. We cannot transfer funds from one budget year to another, so this will be transferred into a project fund that then could be spent in 2018. Just a clarification there.
I apologize, I misspoke.
Thank you, Betty. Any questions?
No, I have none.
I'll move for approval of creation of the special project fund and transferring those funds into it.
A second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item F, Facilities Maintenance, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C477-2017 with Senny and Company for the construction of one ADA-compliant restroom in Suite 410 in an amount of $35,500.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. The item before you is a portion of the Suite 410 Division 3 renovations. We did some initial design work upon that, and it was going to be in the form of a change order that would have put us over the project budget for that courtroom renovation. So we put out the restroom portion of that on RFP to get 2 responses. Senny, who is our original contractor for the courtroom renovation, and KBS. The Senny proposal came back almost $19,000 less than the KBS proposal. And the funding for this has swapped around a little bit since the first time we looked this over. Court Administration is now asking to transfer $30,000 from their 2017 budget to a project fund, with the balance of $3,500 and $500 coming from the 2017 Capital Outlay Fund. Be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I'll move to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Yes.
Could I just ask one question?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you include in that motion that to approve the contract and approve the transfer? I'm asking Betty, but is that not what you want?
Yes.
So we could have
Yes.
this, or else have a separate motion for the approval of the transfer.
Yes. Well, yes, it would be approve the contract, also approve well, there's really 3. Approve the transfer of $30,000 from their budget to a project fund, and then also approve $5,500 to be paid out of the 2017 Capital Outlay Fund.
What she
Okay.
said.
Yes.
Yeah.
What she said.
Motion to do all of that by Commissioner Archer, still seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Bill.
you.
Next item. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Item G, Administrative Services, number 1, update on expenditures and revenues.
Good morning. Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. I'm here with our November 30 financial overview, and we will start on the revenue side and look at our total revenue first. Our year-to-date total revenue through November 30 totals $101,410,000 $823. That is compared to a budget of $101,317,000. So that is $93,116 over our budget. So right in line with our budget. That's exactly 0.09% over budget. And I will go into each of the different categories. This chart here shows the different categories and how they make up the totals. There's also a graph or a column here for the 2016 amount for that same period of time. Our first category is property tax revenue. We've received $79,654,000. There is no change on this from last month because there was not a tax distribution during the month of November. The next category is other tax revenue. We've received $11,292,801. That is $159,000 under budget, and most of that is from the highway tax, which actually came in $254,000 under what the state had budgeted or estimated. The next category is property-related fees. We've received $1,864,643. That is $433,000 over what we had estimated. So I guess the property building market, or the financing market anyway, is up for the year. Next is charges for services. We received $4,170,505. That is $686,000 under what we had budgeted for this time throughout the year. Majority of that is Parks and Rec. They are $429,000 under what was estimated. The DOC is $103,000 under what we had estimated, and planning is $26,000 under. And the last category is other revenue. We've received $4,428,382. That is $924,000 over budget. That is attributable to defeasance revenue that we've received, and then also investment income that is up. So this shows the breakdown of all the different revenue categories and how much we receive from each one of them. And this shows that 79% of all of our revenue comes from property taxes, or has through November 30th. Other taxes equals 11%, property-related fees of 2%, charges for services 4%, and miscellaneous revenue of 4%. Any questions on the revenue side? Okay, well, we will go on to the expenditure side then. And as you can see, we have spent through November 30th $92,971,491. That is compared to what we had budgeted through November 30th of $94,433,000. So we are $1,461,000 under budget as of November 30. This chart again shows the different categories and how much each category makes up the total. The first category we'll look at is public safety expenditures. We have spent $39,809,580. That is $1,253,000 under what had been budgeted for this time period. But it's also $3,321,000 more than we had spent through this time period last year. So even though we are under budget, we have still spent a significant amount more in this category. And in this category, the two departments that really make up the majority of the difference is the DOC. They are $510,000 under budget at this time, but $382,000 of that is from the medical area. They have continued to have good luck, or whatever you want to say, in that medical area. But they're also, and many times, there is a lag in the billing from the medical provider, so sometimes that we have some large bills that we have to move into at the end of the year in that category. The other department in this area is the Sheriff's Department. They are $592,000 under budget, but so far this month, and that's not including the last approval you just made, but there was $509,000 of purchases that you have approved. The next
Or we have acknowledged.
Acknowledged, I'm sorry, yes, you're
Yes.
exactly right, yes,
Okay.
you've acknowledged.
Point of information.
Yes. The next category is public health. We have spent $8,890,703. There again, that is just right on budget. Administrative services, we have spent $11,740,587. There's really, most of all the departments are very close in budget on this category, except for one, and we have the elections department. Their actual expenses that they have spent through the end of November is $101,000 over the amount that the commission had approved for their year of 2017. I'm estimating right now that by year end that will probably be $180,000. So that's really the only department in this area of concern. The next category is public works. We have spent $8,338,850 in this category. We are under budget by $141,000, and that is mostly the appraiser's office and the planning department are both under budget in there. I will mention also, when we're looking at public works, this does not include money that is spent from the sales tax or from federal or state monies. Next category is Parks, Recreation, and Expo Center. We've spent $14,268,269. That is $247,000 under budget. And I'll remind you that their revenue was under budget also, so those kind of go hand in hand. And the last category is debt service, and we've spent $9,923,502 in that area, and you can see that's right on budget. So here is a chart that shows each of the different categories. I think this chart really shows how much is spent in each category and how public safety is definitely the category that we spend the most money in. This is the pie chart of the similar information, but it shows that 43% of all of our expenditures have been spent in public safety. Public health is 9%, admin services 13%, public works 9%, Parks, Recreation, and Expo Center is 15%, and debt service is 11%. So I will remind you that as of November 30th, we have received most of our revenue for the year, but we still have one more month to go on expenditures, and usually December is a high month for expenditures. So we've received approximately 98% of our revenue, but we have only spent 90% of our expenditures because we still have 1 month left, and that is generally a month of high expenditures. So, do you have any questions?
Are there questions for Betty?
Not today.
No. Thank you,
Commissioner?
Betty. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Next item, please.
Item H, Commission Number 1, consider appointment of Silver Lake Township trustee.
Commissioners, I know
Yes.
we have received 2 applications, and I know we've had a chance to review those, but I would move to appoint Georgia Ransom as the Silver Lake Township trustee. Just double check to make sure she lives within the township, and she does, so I would make that motion at this time.
Second.
Motion made to appoint in Georgia.
Georgia
Yes.
Ransom.
Georgia Ransom. To the Lake, I'm sorry, Lake.
Silver Lake.
Silver
Yeah.
Lake Township trustee by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Then thank you, Commissioner Bueller. Next item, please.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz with Spectra Vending Management near Kansas Expo Center. Wanted to give a brief update on the events that took place over the weekend and a special update regarding increased performance in sales and marketing. So over the weekend, we had the ice racing event and the 3rd annual Wing Fling. If you recall, back in late September, early October, we decided to move Wing Fling back to December to give us an ample amount of time to market and sell and promote that event. We are happy to report that we nearly doubled attendance and revenues for that event and had some pretty ambitious participants with wings that made you sign waivers and some very fiery mouths leaving the Expo Center over the weekend. So great weekend series of events. And then on Friday, we signed a new piece of sponsorship business, which for 2 new pieces of sponsorship business alone have equaled just over 50% of your entire sponsorship sales revenues of last year. So something to look forward to and something that we're continually pushing there at the Expo Center.
Good day.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Commissioners, Tom Block, Public Works and Solid Waste. I'm going to reiterate the solid waste collection schedule again this week and next week, as we were pretty nervous about getting all of the information out to our customers, especially this week. So Monday and Tuesday customers this week will have no change, but everyone else is going to move up a day, so we're trying to catch those folks because that's the type of change that people typically are not aware of, and especially with the Christmas Eve holiday being celebrated by the county on this Friday, the 22nd. So anyway, today's customers and tomorrow's customers will see no change, but Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday customers will all move up a day. So Wednesday customers will be collected tomorrow, Thursday customers will be collected on Wednesday, and Friday customers will be collected on Thursday of this week. Then on next week and New Year's week will be the same change, where there will be no collections on Monday of those weeks, and then Monday customers will be moved back to Tuesday, Tuesday customers will be moved back to Wednesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday customers will see no change those 2 weeks. But again, we're trying to reach out to as many people as we can to provide as little inconvenience for the changes. So I mentioned it once again. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Tom.
Good morning, Commissioners. Larry Moss, Shawnee County Treasurer. That's right, Randy, I have good news. You have 2 days left to pay your taxes. Taxes are due on December the 20th. You can pay online, you can pay by mail, or you can walk in. Anything with a postmark of December 20th will be considered on time. So Wednesday, that's the deadline. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Anyone else for administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Bueller?
I do not have anything, thank you.
All right. Commissioner Cook?
Just as we finish up holiday shopping, if you're still out, make sure that you try and shop local. There's a lot of great shops in the county.
Good advice. I don't have anything to add. Next item, please.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session, and I'll make a motion to go into executive session for a period not to exceed 10 minutes for the purpose of a preliminary discussion regarding the acquisition of property by the Parks and Rec Department. And that's a motion.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. We are in executive session. We are back in session, out of executive session, and no action is required. We're officially adjourned.